welcome to another episode of the Trash Talking and Giving Back podcast. I'm Erin-Cofiell-Barker, joined by my lovely co-host, Joe Sinagra of Myers Containers, the Red Can family. Joe, how's it going this week?
Things are going well here. The cooler temperature, the guys and gals appreciate it. So it makes it a little easier, cooler in the morning, and then it warms up. So our lovely workers out on the streets are working hard, and it's a little easier for them. So it's wonderful.
I was going to say, yeah, we've talked about that a lot, right? The winter is like kind of miserable. And then the summer really, when it's really hot, I feel like right now, even like before the time change is probably great because like the weather's feeling better, but it's not dark super early. Although they probably don't mind when it's dark early, right? Because it's more of a morning thing.
Yeah, but it is easier, operating on the streets when it is more daylight, just from maneuvering these big trucks around smaller, streets, and streets do seem to be getting smaller, which might be a good topic to bring up with our guest today.
Oh, this is very true. I always now, ever since I've started doing this podcast and getting to know more about your business, whenever I drive down my road, and there's cars parked on both sides and it's trash day, I always feel bad. I'm like, oh, the trash guys are going to be so upset today because it's going to be so hard to get through.
We appreciate that.
For sure. Anything else new or interesting, exciting going on over there at Myers or in your world?
Not too much. Everything's going well, but I did get thinking, and we can maybe another one, but with everything going on in the world and the anniversary of September 11th, I think every generation has their moment in time. Our parents and grandparents about Kennedy and Kennedy assassination and the moon landing and everything. But I was having a debate with somebody recently that our generation, Gen X, has the most of those moments. Where were you moments? More so than I think our parents or our grandparents' generation or the next generation. And they were arguing with me that was a terrible take.
Stance.
But I stand by it.
Well, but is that just because you know more about all of them because you experienced them?
Well, no, but if you think about what were the major single day moments from, say, 1960 to 1980 compared to 1980 to 2000, yeah, you had the moon landing, you had JFK's assassination, but after that, our generation, you had the Challenger explosion, you had COVID, you had 9/11, these major where were you moments.
Well, but you just had said a 20-year gap. And so from 1980 to 2000 was not really any of that. That was a little bleh. But now 2000 to...
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. But in our generation,
What we remember,
You probably don't remember the Challenger because you're a little younger than I, but that was, a major moment. Before 9/11, that was my generation's moment. Where were you?
Got it. Mine, yeah. Where were you for 9/11? The quick version. Where were you for 9/11?
I was a lobbyist in Montpelier. I was at my desk. My mother actually called me to tell me that a plane hit the towers, which I didn't believe. And then, all that. And the funny thing was, it's my sister's anniversary, 9/11, and my sister-in-law's birthday. And the phones were jammed between Pittsburgh and New York and Vermont. So the only way for my family in New York to talk to my family in Pennsylvania was to call my family in Vermont.
You guys were like the messenger. I love it.
Absolutely. You were probably in high school though.
I was. That was my senior year of high school. And so we were in our current issues class and it came up, and as a lot of, high school seniors, we understood it, but not the way, right, people a little bit older than us did. However, my brother was a freshman at George Washington University, which is 3 blocks from the White House. And so my parents, he's the oldest. And so it's they had just sent their firstborn off to college, and it's literally been about 2 weeks. And this thing is happening in DC, and no phone calls could go in, it could get out. And so that was the more, I think, memorable part for me was that this major thing was happening, but then we were that little step closer of my brother was actually going to school in DC. And so trying to navigate all of that.
Hey, another school I couldn't get into, GW. Another fun fact, another college.
I went there for a semester during Hurricane Katrina because I had been going to, there's another big one, right? I guess, well, kind of, but I was maybe not for the Northeast, but I was going to school in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina. And so then pretty much every college was like, hey, if you want to come to college at our school, like we'll take you in, but still pay Loyola University. And so I went to GW for the semester and lived this city life.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, it was fun. All right, feels like a fun time to welcome in our guest for today. Sara, I meant to confirm I can say her last name right. Vizvarie?
Vizvarie, yes, that's correct.
A licensed realtor here in our area, specializes in a lot of things, but including like the mobile home game, but all homes. And yes, tell us, Sara, tell us.
Sure. Well, real estate's really broad. So, I mean, I do residential primarily. It's investment properties, land, single families, condos. And then I also have a division that's specific to manufactured housing. So it's kind of all encompassing. The only thing I don't do is commercial real estate.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, and like you and I were chatting a little bit before, the it's a little bit of a niche with the manufactured housing, because I feel like a lot of times, you know, people just think of, oh, I'm going to buy a home and the bigger homes, but there's a lot of manufactured housing in Vermont, and there's not like, that's a great place to live. My sister lives in North Carolina, but in a manufactured home, like they're great.
Sure. And we've seen like a big jump in it, I think partially due to COVID and the rates increasing. It's more affordable housing these days. It doesn't have the stigma it used to carry. It's not called a trailer anymore. It's not called a trailer park anymore. A lot of them are cooperatives. So you have this sense of community and you have this sense of ownership in the land. And we've also just seen a lot of different types of modulars and manufactured houses, you know, coming to the market. So you can get anything from a $100,000 brand new manufactured home to a $350,000 brand new manufactured home. So there's a lot of different types of manufactured housing. And like I said, it doesn't carry that stigma anymore. And it becomes, I think with COVID, it just became more of an affordable option because condos, you know, their price went up with single family homes, and trailers, manufactured homes took a little bit longer to catch up with the appreciation. So it became easier for people to say, look, I'm going to use this as a stepping stone, or I'm downsizing and I need a single level. So it's just a really good option for people. It's a great option for people.
So Sara, real estate, I'm just so intrigued, and it's just so much about it is just fascinating to me. So we could spend hours, but the first place I want to start is the trends and the things you're seeing. You know, like I remember buying my house 25 years ago, and the dark wood cabinets or the light wood cabinets, and natural wood was the trend. And now here I go sell my house 25 years later, and it's, you know, white cabinets and stuff like that. So, you know, maybe talk about some of the trends you're seeing, especially here in Vermont, that you're seeing over your career in the business.
Yeah. Trends are a funny thing because people follow them and they go out of style, as we all know. I try to explain to people that trends are going to go out of style. So if you do something that you like in your home, do it for you, not for anybody else. If you're going to spend money on something like cabinetry or flooring or even paint colors, do it for yourself. If they go to sell, you know, that's a different conversation. But as far as trends go, Joe, I'm just going to say the word gray. Gray is like a huge trend right now. I'm sure in like the 80s, it was like wood. Yeah, like wood, everything was brown and wood and, you know, yellows. So I do see a lot of different trends. I kind of see a lot of people leaning towards like clean looking houses. So they want like that white, crisp, grays, light and airy colors. Excuse me, they don't want anything too bold. They don't want anything too dark. So those are the trends we mainly see in real estate. I see that you have a beautiful piano in the background.
Sure.
You know, that's beautiful. But I'm also looking at that nice stone fireplace. See, that wouldn't be a trend. That is a classic piece right there. So
which is my next question. I was gonna be like, so in your professional opinion, how on trend is Joe's home behind?
I was looking at it. So the white couch is not very practical, but a trend.
No.
We've got nice recessed lighting back there. The fireplace is classic. It's not going out of style. Not sure what the flooring is under your piano, Joe. If that's white carpet, it's a bad choice because it gets dirty, but
His kids are grown though. His kids are grown.
I'm gonna grill that. I mean, when I walk into property, I see every different kind of style. My personal style, Ryan would call it, what does he call it? Brady Bunch, like boho. I love vintage, so I love anything in the time periods of like the mid 50s to like the mid 70s. That's my style. Not a lot of people think that way. They like new things, they like modern things. So another thing is even like the color of appliances are a trend. Stainless steel is still trending and it will trend for a very long time. White is out. White appliances are out.
Yeah, those are out. I think it's interesting though, because I always say that like, right, sometimes when people are getting ready to sell, they do all of these upgrades that they, right, maybe didn't always do because it's going to cost them, right, a couple thousand, but then they'll sell it for way more than that. And then, but then I'm like, but then people move in and change it all. But I'm like, just like the construction like workers, which is great, are like who kind of make out or like Home Depot, Lowe's, like the paint places, because they're like, well, we just painted and then we repainted the place. But it makes sense. You buy a house and you get excited and you want to like put your own stuff in it. But the game you have to play sometimes to get it ready to sell, because then you'll get more money. Like it makes sense.
I will say, so going along like the cost versus value, and part of my general seller first meeting is to go to their house and talk about, you know, pricing and market statistics and their situation. But not only that, to go through their house, do a walkthrough and look at things that may need to be fixed, which is important. Like if they have a broken sink, that's different. Things should be working, but at the same time, they may say to me, well, we've been really wanting to paint this room. Should we paint it before we list? And that doesn't make a ton of sense to me because they've really been wanting to paint this room.
Yeah.
It's not going to make or break the sale, you know? So what I usually tell people is, you know, if you have something that appears as an eyesore that you've lacked maintenance on, then yes, make that repair. It's not going to give you, if you spend $10,000, it's not going to receive back to you in a $10,000 return. It's going to be a different return, but it's going to sell your property quicker, look better, and possibly bring more offers and showings. So in the end, you may get a better return with competition.
And like, how fast are you trying to sell your house kind of deal?
Yeah. I mean, how motivated are you? There's so many different layers to real estate and pricing and marketing. I always tell people like, you know, if like our house, I say, you know, the only time that our trim work in the bathroom is going to get finished or this little piece of patchwork that's going to get done is if we ever sell this house, because we have to do it.
Okay. So, I want to talk to you about surprises. I went over to a house last evening for the first time, and it's a very nice home, your standard, you know, middle class, upper middle class home. And then he said, oh, let's go in the basement. And we went into his basement, and by no exaggeration, $150,000 basement remodel. I mean, anything you could, I mean, it was gorgeous, you know, marble countertops for a bar, a wine fridge, a dishwasher, 2 flat screen TVs. I mean, beautiful. So I want to hear about surprises when you walk in. You know, I love that Zillow Gone Wild TV show, but the surprises that you've seen when you walk in, like, wow, I didn't expect, you know, this manufactured home to have, you know, a Picasso on the wall.
Well, I was thinking more like that time I showed a property in Burlington and I knocked on the door and I said, realtor here. And we go in and we're walking through and we get to the bedrooms and we're looking at the bedrooms. And then all of a sudden we get to one that's closed and I'm like, realtor here. And then we open the door and there's a guy that's unclothed laying in his bed. Is that the kind of surprise you're looking for?
Absolutely.
Different, but I like it.
Immediate mortified, like mortified. My client was mortified. I was like, I'm so sorry. Close the door. I was like, you know, through the door, like we had an appointment. I confirmed it with everybody. It was so bizarre, but that's not the only time that's happened. I've had people come out of the shower. So if we're talking about the house itself, those stick with me for some reason.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I showed a house in Chittenden County, and we're going through the house, and super bizarre. Like just finish work and choices, like pulley system in the garage for canoes and stuff, which is cool, but not everyone's going to use it. They had outside, they had a hot tub on stilts. Totally not practical. I was like, how is this even up there? If like it shifts, it was strange. It was like a tree house. But inside, very nice, nicely done, nice finish work. You get to the kitchen, there's a pantry. You open the pantry, it's full of food, but there's also a toilet in there, a functioning toilet.
In the pantry?
Oh, yeah. In the pantry, functioning toilet. Like, you gotta go, you gotta go.
Like, oh, that's wild.
I've also had a lot of, I don't know if this is like a retrofit that maybe a certain age group does, but I've shown probably 3 or 4 houses that have in the bedrooms or the living rooms, you know, like bright carpeting, and in the bedroom or living room, because I've seen both, they actually have a bathroom that is not walled in. So it's just an open tub in your living room. I had one that was in the living room. You just walk in, the tub was in the living room, the TV was on the wall, you had your toilet in there. It's some strange stuff you see, but those are the kind of things that people do for themselves. Just like this guy who, you know, had that finished basement. He really wanted that to be a space. Yeah.
His wife said, you could have a man cave down there. And he said, challenge accepted.
I've never seen a Picasso in person, so I can't say. Maybe at a museum in France or something, but I also not sure I'd be able to recognize a true piece.
How hard is it, right, to be a realtor and go look at houses and not be like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want this house. Like, I feel like I would just constantly, right? It's like when you're younger and you go work at a retail store, and then you're like, oh, like we joke with my mom, she like works at like a retail store. I'm like, Mom, you spend your whole paycheck on clothes. Like, you're constantly out there just like seeing different houses and seeing different things and like projects. Like, are you constantly coming home like, hey, this house had this really cool thing, we got to do it. This house had this, like.
So I wouldn't say that, but just like your mom, you spend out your whole paycheck on real estate or in retail. If you work in retail, I'd be lying if I said my paycheck doesn't go to buying other real estate. I mean, I just can't I get the bug and I get the itch for buying something else. I want this house. Okay, I'm going to put an offer in on this house. It's not necessarily bringing those items back to my house. I'm happy with our house. Ryan's done a great job. It's an you know, an antique farmhouse. It's beautiful. So not everything that I see fits in it. I would say it's more like, I've got to have this house. I want to buy this house. And I've done that a few times. If I see a project that's like maybe somewhat manageable, and I think I can either turn it into a rental or sell it or find a client to fit into it. So I'd say it's more of a buying problem for me instead of a let's take it to our house. Let's just buy this one.
Let's just get
let's buy this
one. Do I
one.
want this $20 shirt while I'm working today? Yes. Do I want this $200,000 home? Sure.
Yeah, and I made a promise this year to myself: no new investments until next year.
One thing, Sara, you talk a lot about on social media that I follow is preparing your house to sell, and how decluttering your house and making it ready to be viewed and sell. And of course, we're in the business of waste management, as you know. So maybe talk a little bit about how important it is to maybe get that roll off from your friendly trash hauler.
Yeah, it's extremely important. A lot of people have been in homes for a long time, especially in Vermont. I don't know the average year, like amount of years people have been in their houses in Vermont. I know first-time buyers stay in their houses anywhere from 5 to 8 years. And that may actually have shifted just because rates have gone up a little bit. But a lot of our generations, like the baby boomers and maybe the generation below or above, have been in their houses anywhere from 30 to 50 to 60 years. So they really need help when they're moving. They've got a big burden of things on their plate as far as just getting to the point of listing it. So this can take a really long process. There are companies that clean out, but a lot of people will need dumpsters. I mean, I recommend dumpsters quite a bit. I always say sort it into piles, put it in the we don't need it, we're getting rid of it, it's going to the dump pile, or put it in the, we don't want to throw it in the trash because it means a little bit to us, so we're going to donate it, versus the let's keep it pile. So it takes quite a long time for people to go through that. A lot of my clients that have been in homes probably 10 years plus get dumpsters. It's very important to have your house ready to show without all your trash in it. And I hate to say that, but a lot of people just say, I just haven't gotten to it. And if you want to list your house and you've got a lot of stuff, it doesn't show well. I always say declutter. I don't care if it's clean. I just want it decluttered, because when you see a picture of your house online and you can't even see the walls or the space, there's no vision for that buyer. They're not going to see their stuff in it. You've got too much crap in there.
And
it's important. It's really important.
No one makes it easier. No one makes it easier than
no
buyers.
one makes it easier than buyers.
Because also having, right, that dump pile, I feel like, right, if it's just the pile and you're like, oh yeah, they're going to do a bunch of trips to the dump, like, no, I'm going to go back, I'm going to walk past that dump pile and pull something out. But if the dumpster is outside and
you throw it in
the dumpster, like,
you can't look at it again. It's in the dumpster now.
Yeah.
And also Myers will come and remove it for you, which is way easier than taking lots of truck bed trips to the dump. It's way easier. Yeah. Just get a couple friends over. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. Make a game of it. The kids can try to throw stuff in, like it's a basketball.
I love dumpsters because, like you said, I can't see in them after, and I'm too short to look over the edge. So
yeah, it's on. It's out. Like,
it's gone. It's out of my brain. It's out of my mind.
Yep. See you later. Okay, Joe, is it time for trashy or not?
It is trashy or not. So one of our favorite times of the week. And I've been noticing this a lot. So I have my opinions on vanity plates, which we've talked about on the podcast before, but this isn't really vanity plate driven. Trashy or not, the trashy or inappropriate bumper stickers. Like I see, if you're riding that close, can you at least pull my hair bumper sticker, and the little guy peeing on the Ford sticker, and stuff like that, and all of those inappropriate or questionable bumper stickers.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Trashy or not?
Yeah, is it trashy to have? Basically, is it trashy to have an inappropriate, a not safe for work bumper sticker on your car driving around town?
All right, Joe, so I'm going to throw you a curveball. I do think it's trashy, yet I absolutely love it. So I don't have any bumper stickers because I don't want to ruin my car. But do I love to read bumper stickers? 100%. Let's keep them. I love the ones on motorcycle helmets. If you can read this, the bitch fell off. Hilarious. I love it. Plus, I know who's driving that doesn't agree with me, like politically or like scientifically, and I can avoid them.
That's fair.
I think it's hard because I think that, right, like in this era of life I'm in, like my 40s mom era, like it feels trashy only because it's like as soon as my kid can start to read, or it's gonna be like, Mom, why is that kid peeing on that? And then you have to just be like, oh, their sense of humor is different from ours, right? Like, but I'm sure that in like my 20s, like when I was younger, like I thought it was like whatever. I will say though, I feel like I've seen some incredibly inappropriate ones. Like one time I gotta try to find the photo of it. Like in our daycare parking lot, there was one, and I was like, "Whoo! Like what? Like what are we doing?" Like, and so I think like situationally, but like, yeah, like when you're right, the roads are a public place. You can express yourself how you like, but it is a little trashy.
It's definitely trashy, but like they're so fun. Who doesn't love?
They are, yeah. They're often clever. They're often clever.
I tend to agree with both of you on it. Yes, I get a chuckle when I see them, but I always think it's funny when you're pulling into, the church parking lot and you see this bumper sticker, like, extremely inappropriate. And you're like, oh my God. Or I always think about like, your mom, can I borrow your car for tonight? I got to run to the grocery store and she's driving your, if you could read this, make sure you tip her or something. I'm going
on the limb and hope that those kids aren't living with their parents that decide that it's appropriate to have those bumper stickers.
Wow.
Right. I think sometimes people buy used cars and they already have bumper stickers. So you like have to like kind of take it with a grain of salt. Like that could not be their opinion, right?
Yeah. No, I would cover it up real quick.
Plus,
put a pretty little thing on it.
as a recovering New Yorker, I'm a terrible driver. So anything that's going to distinguish, so when I cut them off or give them a finger or something like that, I don't want them to be like, oh yeah, it's that white car with the sticker that said, ABC. I want to be, because can be an ass on driving.
Good thing
Yeah,
it
you
just
wanna
says Myers across the
Well,
side.
I am a very quick story. I have obviously another vehicle, and I'm very conscious when I'm driving a company car to make sure I follow all the rules of the road. And but sometimes I forget. And recently, a few months ago, I forgot, and I gave somebody a finger gesture. And really fun fact, it was a good friend of one of my bosses who proceeded to call my boss to say, I don't know who the guy was, but he just flipped me off. So the good part is my boss called and said, it's okay, he is an asshole, so that's cool. But in the future, maybe keep in mind not to flip people off when you're driving a company car.
Wait, how did they know it was you?
They didn't know. They just knew they were friends with my boss. So they called my
No,
boss.
no, no.
And
So
said,
was your boss like, hey, Joe, we had this incident
yeah,
happen, and then you had to be like, actually.
correct.
It
Because
was
my
me
boss
in the
and
white
I,
car with the Myers sign.
well, my boss and I left basically at the same time, going more or less in the same direction. So he kind of knew that was by all likelihood me.
Well, you're still working there, so we're good.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Joe's not going anywhere.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, Sara, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you are in a very lovely setting. Sara's background is real. My background
is real.
Joe's background is staged from, I don't know, maybe like the 2000s we'll go with. He will
say
play
like
the piano.
2003, probably.
Yeah, 2000. He will play the piano for us at some point. We'll get him to. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Thank everybody for listening. Make sure to like, share, subscribe to the podcast. We love hearing from you guys as well. So drop us some comments. Maybe we'll address them. Joe, quick question. We used to wonder about this dining table set you were trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace. Did it sell?
Yes. It has not sold, and it's now in the way back of my storage unit. So I do have to, yes, that's plan B. Thank you for bringing it back to my attention, because my wife has not been on my case about this at all, Erin. So I appreciate it.
Hey, Vicky, get on him for it. All right, everybody.
Thanks for having me.